we're going to cover today is a quick session on our fixed metal awnings. Fixed metal awnings provide great protection, obviously from the sun, but can also be very good for weather and rain protection as well over doors, windows and patios. We offer three styles in these awnings. They are Bahama, Kingston and Caribbean. So the first one we'll talk about here is our Bahama. Now, Bahama metal awning is our budget solution. It's a fully waterproof awning even at quite shallow angles. It features a series of wide horizontal panels. It's about 170 millimeters. So we've got three panels here, making our skin size there about 530. So wide horizontal panels. This awning is quite good for using in mitered situations, internal and external miters. The awning width is unrestricted. Now, this being a horizontal panel, comes at a 5-meter width, and obviously depending on the size of the awning that you've called up or that you've ordered, obviously you'll need to make some joins to the awning on site if it's over our maximum shipping size. So there's your Bahama simple awning, rectangular front valance, which is fitted there, no sides. So that's how a Bahama comes to you. The next one is the Kingston. Now, Kingston and Caribbean have vertical panels. Bahama was horizontal, Kingston, Caribbean, vertical. So the Kingston awning, again, it's really good for being a waterproof awning, even at shallow installation angles. It features a large and a small vertical panel. Reversed scalloped edge really helps steal that water into the main bottom panel and water will flow away. This awning, again, it can be made to any width. Keep in mind a couple of things. Obviously, again, over the maximum shipping size of about 2 meters, you'll have to build it on site. It will come in sections and you'll be building it on site. Not recommended for mitered corners, as you could imagine. This not being a flat style awning, it's quite deep and then high and then deep and then high. To get angles and join those miters together is very impractical. Both of these awnings, the Kingston and the Caribbean, keep in mind the width might be unlimited, but the width is also dependent and the increments go up in the width, obviously by the width of a small, large, small panel. We can't cut one of these panels in the middle. So obviously I couldn't just make this particular awning 10 or 12 millimeters wider. I would have to bring it back to that increment or go up to the next increment. There you have your Kingston. Then we come across to the Caribbean. Now, Caribbean is our biggest seller in the fixed metal awning range. It has more of a flat feature. We have large and small vertical panels, a slightly scalloped edge, but due to the flat panel configuration, it's not going to be as waterproof when you have it at shallow angles. These three awnings here are set at 25-degree angles. That's how we ordered up our hand sample of these awnings. But if you had that at a 10 or a 15-degree angle or less, you wouldn't get the water protection on this that you would get from the Kingston or the Bahama. What I want to do is talk through, they're the three awning styles. What I want to talk through now is some awning terminology you need to be aware of when you're ordering or considering fixed metal awnings. We refer to drop, or wall drop as we should refer to it, projection, angle, skin measurement, and valance. The projection is how far that awning projects out from its fixing point on the wall right out. So here you can see the projection is the point where I'm mounted to the wall right out to the front of the valance. The drop is the wall height or the wall drop. Depending on the drop, the projection, and the angle that you select or the angle you want to set your awning back or your awning at, that will determine the skin measurement that we need to know. So when you order your awning from us, your initial order form, you need to give us your width and your drop. Now, on that order form, the drop figure that we want you to give us is actually your skin measurement. The wall drop from our perspective to make the awning is actually irrelevant. It'll help you determine what your fixing is going to be, what your height is going to be when you fit the awning, but we need the skin measurement. And the skin measurement is the measurement all the way down that awning to the end of the valance. And it varies depending on the angle and the projection that you want. A couple of things that you need to consider when you're check measuring or selling this product in. Firstly, you need to decide on the best type of awning for the application. Is it a window? Is it a door? You need to check if the main protection required is for sun or the weather or weather or rain protection, because again, that'll have a bearing on the choice of awning. Consider what you're going to mount the awning to as well. These awnings all require a mounting strip, or we sometimes refer to it as a weather strip. If you don't have a flat area of wall to mount the weather strip to or the mounting strip to, you'll need to put something in place. You'll need to run some timber or some aluminium, because on each of these awnings there is a weather strip. So there is a strip, an aluminium strip which gets fitted first. The awning then sits in that channel or that strip, and then that awning is fitted every 250 to 300 millimeters with a fixing screw to attach the awning to the actual mounting channel. Now the Bahama and the Caribbean use the same mounting channel, and the Kingston one is a little bit different because it's a deeper style awning. Look for light fittings. Sometimes they can be a real problem. Sometimes you may need to suggest to the consumer that they move some light fittings to a different position, and then they need to get an electrician to come in and do that. Keep in mind, most councils require objects no closer than 150 millimetres to a fence. These are fixed awnings. They're in a fixed position. Can't take an awning to the fence line. Most councils will object to that. Height of the awning, just consider what your installer might need, whether he may need trestles, planks, ladders, or potentially even scaffolding to fit the awning. So if I'm looking at awnings, say on windows, if I've got an architrave around that window, probably looks best if you fit on those architraves. If you've got windows with bricks above, we'd recommend you fit it to the top of the second brick. If you've got windows without bricks above, and that's probably typical of most brick veneer homes that we see, you need to run, again, a piece of timber or an aluminium headboard that needs to be installed so we can attach our mounting channel for the awning to sit into. Now you'll see by some of the pictures we'll show shortly as well, you can mount the awning or the mounting strip onto the fascia board under the gutter. Just keep in mind you need to have at least 60 millimetres of vertical height to fit that mounting strip to. As far as measuring for the width, architrave and brick wall, if you can go past the window by 300 millimetres, certainly recommended, 150 either side to give you good coverage. If you are mounting out on the fascia, then you really want to look at going wider. So we'd be saying plus 600 millimetres to help cut out the angle of the sun and the rain might cut behind that awning. As a general rule, and as a quick sort of method to determine skin size, if your window drop is less than 1200, probably going to use a 900 skin. If it's between 1200 and 1800, probably going to use a 1050 skin. And certainly over doors, you're going to have a 1200 skin minimum. If head clearance is not an issue, I'd always recommend making the angle at 25 degrees. It's a good angle for rain and sun protection. Only go the lower angle if you need the head clearance to walk out underneath the awning. I'm going to share with you a drop projection chart because you have these, one for Bahama, one for Caribbean, and one for Kingston. There is a specific chart for each type of awning. And depending on the angle you want to sit the awning at and the projection you can work with, or maybe it's the wall drop that's going to determine what size awning you can fit, you need to work out what the skin size will be from this chart, and this is the drop that you give us on the order form. So as example here, if I'm looking at a Bahama, I'm going to stick with a 15 degree angle, and I know I can come out about 1200. So at 15 degree, look for a 1200 projection. In the chart there I can see 1194, third line down roughly in the middle. 1194 going to give me a wall drop of 381. I can live with that. So I know the skin I want to order for that awning is a 1245. Now, obviously, there's, as I said, keep in mind, charts differ from awning to awning. Another thing that you'll have to send us with your awning order form, if you're ordering a Caribbean or a Kingston, is you'll have to give us the colour chart. Now, selecting the colours, obviously, is from your Luxaflex metal awning swatch. And you probably all know this, but you have a legend. So you'll have two little laminated cards in here, and you'll have all the colour chips in here, but the legend is in here. So let's look at Caribbean. If I look at Caribbean, what are these colours available in Caribbean? I know they are a totally blacked out circle, totally blacked out dot. So any of those colours with that symbol are available on Caribbean awnings. Keep in mind, not every colour is going to be available across all three awning styles. These are the colour chips we use for our fabric awning head boxes, for our louvered awnings, our Trinidads and those sort of things. So these colour chips cover a few different products. Not every colour in here is going to be available on a Caribbean, on a Bahama, or on a Kingston. So obviously this colour chart needs to be the second form that you send us with your original or initial order form. Bottom left-hand corner of that form, you need to let us know how many different colours you've selected. So the chart here, you're going to fill in the small size colour, or the small panel, the large panel, the small panel, the large panel. You need to write your colours on there. If that pattern continues right across the awning, just mark it with an arrow to the end of the panel that finishes on the width that you want. On this form as well, you're going to give us some customer details as well. As I said, it's the second form that's going to come to us for a Caribbean or Kingston awning. We don't want to have, I guess, two pieces of paper that might get separated. So giving us the customer detail on this form as well as the original form will help us marry up that paperwork correctly. When you're specifying the angle of the awning, we'll also want you to specify the valance bend. Recommended to do exactly the same. If you're setting your awning pitch at 25, then your valance bend is 25. If your awning angle is 15, your valance angle should be 15. So that would be our recommendation. What we need to talk about just quickly also are the arm styles that are available. The awnings on the table over here are all just fitted with our Type A standard square brace arm, which is what you're going to do in most circumstances. If you need extra support, you can call up Type B, which is a doubled square brace arm. The tie rod truss 1 and 2 are quite rare. Truss Type 3 is the one that is used in those higher wind areas and specified in your price book as far as when you need to factor that in. So this is a sample of truss Type B. So it's all hat section. Again, it's lightweight aluminium, but the structural integrity of the hat section gives a lot of structure and a lot of stability to the awning. So you can see here we have horizontal piece and a vertical piece running obviously the skin and the angle of the awning, and supports here keep it in place. Now these will come to you pre-cut the right size, pre-drilled, but you'll be assembling these arms on site. So just keep in mind that if your installer's fitting an aluminium fixed awning or a metal fixed awning with truss Type 3, it's going to take a little bit longer to install. I'm going to share some photos now of a couple of installations of aluminium or fixed metal awnings, give you a bit of an indication as to some of the types of scenarios where we'd use them. So here we're on the back of a veranda, on the back of a house, probably to give us a bit of sun and rain protection. And you can see we've got the standard brace arm, but right at the very back end against the house, they've chosen to put another arm there as well, just to give us that extra support. Obviously it was deemed that was necessary. It may have been slightly high wind in that environment there. You can see a close-up of another one with that double arm support. What we've got here is, may not be a large awning, but it's a fairly shallow angle, and it's actually, the arm is quite a long arm set back to the wall under the eave, and this awning is fitted out on the fascia. So we've got quite a long arm, not providing enough support on its own. So we've gone with a secondary arm back to the wall and out to the second horizontal runner. Here you can see a Caribbean where we've just got one closed inside, butting into a corner where we've got two doors. There's actually two doors there, one that goes into a laundry right to the left and one that goes into the back of the home. Now, had that laundry have had an outward opening screen door, for instance, we would have had to do something completely different with that arm in the left-hand corner. But there's only an inward opening door into the laundry, so we were able to secure that arm there, which doesn't impede the screen door coming out of the home. Again, that's fitted directly on the wall of the actual house, higher than the window to give us the height that we need to walk out of the door and actually not hit our head. And obviously we've mounted the mounting channel directly at the top of the wall. Post support. Now you can call up post support. Certainly if your skin is over 1800, you need to be looking at post support. These are smaller awnings, but in this scenario here, where arms would have obviously impeded the ability to walk down this walkway, arms were not going to work. Your standard brace arms were not going to work. So we've had to use posts coming down pretty well outside, adjacent to where the railing is. Again, lots of different ways of fitting the awnings in the place that you need to be. We have an installation video that we're going to play for.
Are suitable for weather protection over doors and patios. All fixings required to assemble the awning will be provided, but wall fixings will not be supplied. Drill the weather strip at even intervals. Align the weather strip using a spirit level at the desired top height. Pull out the fixings using the weather strip as a template, then position plugs or other bolts as required. Place silicone or other sealant along the back of the weather strip before securing the weather strip permanently in place. Attach the fascia brackets to the fascia section and cut the arms to the desired length before drilling and attaching bolts to the arm and the fascia brackets. Holding the awning in place, drill and screw self-tapping screws through the weather strip and hinge beam to hold the awning in place. Align arms horizontally and straight. Mark and attach the adjustable U-brackets to the arms with 4.8mm metal thread bolts and nuts. Mark and attach the adjustable U-bracket to the wall using 40mm by 10 gauge self-tapping screws. Lift the arm into the adjustable U-brackets and secure with the bolt and nut provided. Centre support arms, if required, can be attached using the exact method just shown. Cutouts can be ordered to fit around downpipes and other obstacles. The Bahama awning is an extremely durable fixed awning suitable for use over windows, doors, patios and carports. Panels run horizontally so the awning widths are unrestricted.
So you can see in that video, this is an older style of awning, but a fairly modern home there. Well, obviously, you know, rendered, coloured render, fairly square section, outdoor area there. The Bahama can lend itself to actually look quite good in a modern environment. The others two tend to be more traditional. You can see there the arms, the standard square brace arms. I'd recommend when you do call those up, ask for them a little bit longer than you want them. Easy to cut those aluminium arms on site and get them exactly to the size that you want. The U-brackets fitting to the awning, fitting to the wall. Pretty simple, straightforward scenario with what we're doing with that. As I said, once your mounting strip is up and the awning is in place, and you've got one or two arms holding it in position, just a matter of capping off with all the extra fixings. All right, guys, thanks for your time. See you in the next session.